All right, some serious news. The man accused of killing two Israeli embassy staffers in Washington, D.C. could face the death penalty for what the Justice Department is calling an act of terrorism.
Madeline Rivera joins us now from outside the Capitol Jewish Museum with the latest. Madeline.
Good morning, guys. Investigators say the charges they brought against the suspect yesterday are only the beginning, and there could be more coming depending on the evidence.
This is a horrific crime, and these crimes are not going to be tolerated by me and by this office. Anti-Semitism will not be tolerated, especially in the nation's capital. And we're going to continue to investigate this as a hate crime and a crime of terrorism.
So for now, 31-year-old Elias Rodriguez is facing 2 counts of first-degree murder along with firearm charges. Court papers present the shooting as calculated. Authorities say Rodriguez flew to D.C. from Chicago on May 20th with a gun. He told police he had bought a ticket for the event at the Capitol Jewish Museum 3 hours before it began on Wednesday. Surveillance video showed Rodriguez shooting the victims, 26-year-old Sarah Milgram and 30-year-old Yaron Lashinsky, both staffers for the Israeli embassy. As Milgram tried to crawl away, Rodriguez approached her and fired at her again, emptying out more than 20 rounds in total in the attack. He allegedly told police, "I did it for Palestine, I did it for Gaza, I am unarmed." Rodriguez was holding a red scarf identified by one witness as a keffiyeh, and as officers were escorting Rodriguez from the museum, he shouted, "Free Palestine." Moving forward, police will be speaking to the people who knew Rodriguez, trying to learn more about him. They'll be combing through his social media accounts and going through writings that are believed to have been published by him. They're also asking for the public's help to help fill in the gaps between May 20th, when the suspect arrived here in D.C., and May 21st, when that shooting happened at the Capitol Jewish Museum behind me. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Maddie.
Thanks, Maddie.
I just got to say, this guy is a coward because he shot him in the back, execution style. That's why he's getting charged with first-degree murder. Probably is going to get the death penalty. He has a manifesto that is out. But he targeted people that were directly trying to get aid to Gaza. So, I mean, if you have been condemning the Israeli government and you don't like the way that they're conducting or what you don't like about the foreign aid, this group, these diplomats were trying to get aid there, and you executed them.
Well, it's also, with all this condemnation towards Israel, what is the appropriate response to a 9/11 type attack, which is what Israel suffered? What is the appropriate response? I mean, you look at just the first 6 months after 9/11 here, we dropped 1,228 cluster bombs with 248,000 bomblets on Afghanistan. You saw a huge displacement of people as a result. So what is the appropriate response when you have your women killed, when you have your children killed, when you have your people taken hostage? Like, what is the appropriate response for the people condemning Israel?
Yeah, and not just Israel's response to Hamas, but Americans' response here, or some are Americans, a lot aren't, to what Israel is doing has turned into all these pro-Palestinian, which are now pro-Hamas protests on universities where they're literally almost physically attacking Jewish students. Well, the Trump administration says no more. Secretary No More is that universities need to get your act together, and the Trump administration has terminated Harvard's student visas.
Yeah, we're talking about, according to the data that they have, 27% of their population. I want to know why they're having 27% of international students when it's so competitive to get into school. A lot of Americans want to go there. But all they've asked Harvard to do is turn over the video camera of all these protests and what was going on. Treat the Jewish population as you would treat any other population. Stop the blocking of the Jews from going to the class, and Harvard does not want to buckle, and this is just another way to hit their bottom line, Lisa.
Well, it's also, I just love common sense, right? And if you're a country that wants to do harm to the United States, would you not use our universities as a way to try to do harm to the country? And look, over the past 4 years under the Biden administration, we talked a lot about illegal immigration, and clearly everyone's seeing the impact, and also that playing out a role in the election, with immigration being the second most important issue to voters. But now we need to have a conversation about legal immigration and who are we letting into this country, and what does that vetting process look like for some of these visas to allow some of these individuals to come to the United States who, by the way, hate us, hate our values, hate what we believe here, and why are we letting them into the United States, Joey?
Yeah, I don't think the Trump administration is going to tolerate it much anymore. These are some of the things that they're doing to put universities in check so that they actually care about this country. They've revoked the authorization to enroll international students. They've suspended $2.7 billion worth of grants and $1 billion for research partners, launched at least 8 investigations, asked the IRS to revoke the university's tax-exempt status. Now, understand that most of these universities, especially the Ivy League, I went to Georgetown, they have a multi-billion-dollar trust. It's not like
endowment.
Endowment. It's not like these universities are going to be bankrupt and can't provide scholarships. They said they're going to have to be more diligent in who they provide scholarships to, and they're going to have to dig into some of that money that's just actually, ironically, working in a capitalist system to earn more money for them, which is what they're doing with those endowments as opposed to taxpayer dollars.
The message is very simple. It's coming from the president. It's coming from the DHS secretary. Get your act together.
Yeah.
Here's the secretary.
Harvard brought these consequences upon themselves. They have promoted and allowed violent activity on campus. They have allowed anti-Semitism, participation with CCP and Chinese infiltration and influence on their campus, and they haven't protected their students. This should be a warning to every other university to get your act together. Get your act together, because we are coming to make sure that these programs, that you are facilitating an environment where students can learn, where they're safe, and that they're not discriminated against based on their race or their religion.
Well, and when we hear these chants on college campuses, and by the way, we've seen it throughout the country, not
the
just
river
on
to the sea,
Pro-Palestine.
Pro-Palestine.
Wait, this is what
they
they're
have
asking,
meaning.
Lawrence. This is